Back. Neal Isaacs, the Raleigh Business Broker, coming to you with more details about small business transactions, buyers, owners, advisors, anybody who dabbles in this SMB world, lower middle market deals. Our focus with this programming is just to educate and hopefully, if you're on that path, to get you to the next step. So today, timely content about the new SBA procedural notice. This was released, I'm looking at it May 9th. So I'm recording this in mid-May. And I want to just talk about what that means if you're buying and selling a business, and who should care, who's going to be affected. Backing up a little bit, what is SBA? The Small Business Administration is a part of the government that guarantees loans. So I like to use the analogy of Freddie and Fannie Mae. If you buy a home, chances are you're getting this loan, and it is a government type of loan. In the small business world, the analogy would be an SBA loan. If you're going to buy a business, the good businesses qualify for SBA loans. What that means is it's not the bank that is guaranteeing the loan, but the bank can write the loan. Most of the small business sales that we have, the goodwill, the value is not really in the trucks and the equipment. It's this thing that you can't touch. So it's more risky for the bank. So the government, the SBA, says, hey, we will guarantee part of this loan. In the event that it goes south, Mr. and Mrs. Bank, you don't have to pay, you won't be on the hook for all of it. So it provides support, and it mitigates some of the risks, so the banks are more likely to loan for small business, helps the economy. That's why it exists. It's an integral part of small business deals. That's what SBA loans are all about. Knowing all the details about an SBA loan as an intermediary is kind of a part of what we do, in that it's part of an owner's options for exit. A lot of business owners think, I don't care how the business buyer pays for it, as long as I get my money, take the business, do what you want. But in actuality, business buyers' options affect business owners' options, because business buyers buy business owners' businesses. So it makes sense that everybody should understand what an SBA loan is and how it's changed. Historically, business buyers have had to bring 10%, really about 15%, because the SBA wants the borrower to borrow working capital. So don't just scrape into the deal, but to have some money to pay the basic bills. So that worked out to be really about 15%. If you don't have the money to put down, if you're buying $1 million business, you don't have $150,000 in liquid cash, it's probably excluded already. That's how it's been historically, right? And by the way, you can't just take that money from someone else. It's got to be a clear path there. So there's this equity injection piece, this part of, do you have the down payment? That's been a limiting factor. Really, it's been about 10%, but it's more complicated than that. Well, this SBA procedural notice is possibly making it so that business buyers could get in for less than that. And what's really interesting, and they've gone back and forth about this, is that the seller, the business owner, could lend a seller note, and that could count as some or all of the down payment. So there's a lot of stuff on the internet about buying a business with no money down. Most of that is suspect. I am definitely not saying that this will accomplish that, but you're going to hear a lot of people talking about this is the path to do that moving forward with SBA. It's this SBA procedural notice is counterintuitive to a lot of stuff that we're used to with SBA. There is a part of this that talks about typically it's been buyer and seller, you keep them separated. The owner's got to leave within a year. There's some talk about the current owner being a part of this new buyer's new loan with the seller note and even sharing equity. So it's pretty game changing. So that's an overview of what this new SBA procedural notice says. It's like an addendum to this really long list of rules for how SBA loans work. How will it affect you, the buyer, the borrower, the seller of the business? Well, chances are it's going to be a while before we see the real effects. Just because the SBA said, hey, there's some new changes to the rules, the banks are the ones that administer these loans, so they have to decide what they're comfortable with. And we see this a lot. There's the rules from the SBA and there's the rules from the bank. And the last thing the banks want to do is break the rules. So they'll take some time to figure out how to apply the rules. And some of them won't apply them at all. They'll just keep doing exactly what they're doing. So we work with a lot of great banks that do SBA really well. 1 million people, 1 million banks do SBA. When you hear people talk about, I think it's LPL or PLP loan folks, they're just saying they're preferred lenders with SBA. Most banks are, right? So that's nothing. I don't think that's something to really brag about. But you can get SBA loans from a variety of different sources, brokers, banks. They all do things a little bit differently. Some of them do a lot of SBA loans, and some of them just kind of have a loan department, and it's one of their many tools, and it's not a huge focus. It's just something they can do. But I think that we're going to see a lot of banks that are focused on SBA really diving into this and trying to execute with these new rules, because we haven't seen these type of rules in a while. If you're on Twitter, there's a lot of talk about this. It's interesting. It's hard to find news about it. I've done some Google searches. It's hard to find news about it. But on Twitter, there's a lot of the SNB community is really chatting it up about this topic of the new SBA rules. I'm looking at the SBA procedural notice. If you want me to share it with you, I'm happy to do that. I can put it in the link as well. It's pretty dry stuff, but you can read the details and see how it may apply to you. But it's going to be something you want to talk with your banker, with your SBA banker. And if you'd like a referral for that, I can make that connection as well. Big things are happening in the loan world, and obviously interest rates are here right now, and that's moving up and down. This is probably going to be for the good, but it's going to cause a lot of noise in the meantime. That's what I want to share with you today regarding the SBA procedural notice that was effective date May 9th, 2023. Tell me about your stuff. What do you want to hear about? What type of content do you want to learn about on this channel? Put it in the comments. Like, subscribe, share. You know how this works. Like, subscribe, share here. And then if you have something confidential about a specific deal, if you want to learn more about business brokerage, about buying or selling a business, connect with me directly. Slide into the DMs. But my contact information is pretty easy to find. Find me on LinkedIn. It's probably a good way to reach out. That's all I got for you today. Thank you for watching. This is Neal Isaacs, the Raleigh Business Broker, signing off.